just hanging out, chilling. But I had this thing, it's really important for me to say, I'm bursting with it, so I really want to spend some time with you today, and I hope that you get a chance to come see this. Where I am in Northern California, we are having a monster storm with the winds howling and the rain's coming down, and not what I thought I was going to get when I moved to Northern California, but now I'm in the know. Today, I want to talk to you about something really, really, really important, and it's about steady pulls. And to help me warm this up, I'm going to get some help from Jonathan Brooke. The steady pulls that I'm talking about may not be things that you like. I'm here today to talk about the steady pulls of your body. Now, I don't know about you, but by the time that you get into your 40s or your 50s or your 60s, you know that you've got patterns. You know that you've got ruts in terms of how you move and how you feel. It's kind of like if you are sitting and you always cross one leg over the other. And very rarely do you cross the other one. Or the way that you're standing, you sort of always stand on one side. Or, even worse than that, like you find yourself in these scrunched little positions. Why? Because you're experiencing what those steady pulls are doing in your body. Hi, Yulia. Nice to see you. And so I'm here to demonstrate today that with this band, right, if I have a steady pull on my friend here, then after a while, he's not going to notice it anymore. We're so amazingly adaptive creatures, and it's those steady pulls that act on your body all the time, and if you don't realize that they're happening, then they could actually be doing some wrong things. Going. Okay, so listen, I want to talk to you a little bit today about how our brains are wired. Our brains, our beautiful brains, are wired in a way that where we're actually wired to respond to sudden and immediate threats and dangers. That's how we're wired. But the things that are really operating in our life today that are the most threats are those slow and gradual kinds of threats, those slow and gradual dangers, like, I don't know, global warming, for example, or overpopulation or pollution. Because they're so slow to kind of build up, we don't actually deal with them until they've reached that crisis. Now, Stephen Covey had the right idea when he was talking about his quadrant here. He was talking about the things that are urgent and the things that are important are the things that grab our attention the most. And we tend to gravitate towards those. And then as a result of all of that, we just sort of relax and then end up dealing with the not important, not urgent things in that lower quadrant, which are like the trivia, the kinds of things. And also we're pulled into the things that are not important but urgent. And we spend a lot of time doing these things that are actually distractions or crises or trivia. And it's not your fault, it's how your brain is wired. But here's the thing that Stephen Covey really clued into, is that when you train your brain, I mean, that's the good news, right? Our brains are trainable, yes. And when you train your brain to actually start to spend more time in the not urgent but important category, then you've got a situation where you're actually in that preventative quadrant, where you're actually doing the most good. And the same thing happens with our bodies. You want to be in the mindset of training your brain to notice those grooves or ruts that you find your body in. Well, what do you do about it? That's a great question. What you do about it is you use these tools that we all have called imagery and sensation. And when you have those tools together, then you can start to align. What do I mean by that? Imagine that there is a dowel that goes, you know what a dowel is, it's a round piece of wood. Imagine that there's a dowel that goes right through one shoulder right to the other one. Now, if you imagine that, what you naturally start to do is start to line those up, line up your shoulders so that they're square. And then if you imagine that you had another dowel that went from the top of your head down through your spine, and you imagine that those two meet at a cross point so that you can really start to feel an image into, ooh, I actually do notice that my spine shifts this way. Well, what do you do about it? You start to imagine that that dowel is there and lining yourself up with that dowel. That's such a powerful tool. And the more you do that, the more you start to notice that your body shifts and creates a steady pull in the other direction, which gives you an amazing edge. Awesome. So, teaching ourselves, training our brains to notice those gradual things that we normally adapt to, and shifting that into, wait a minute, I have tools here. I can use that dowel imagery right through my body so that I start to align my body naturally and keep it on the steady pull of alignment.